Okay, so we'll chat to Jonathan, Professor Jonathan Jansen as well, coming up just now. But Dr. Pali Lehohla is with us, former statistician general, the yellow man. That's how I always remember him, and he knows that. But now executive member of the Indlulamithi scenarios for 2030. Pali, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Ashraf, and I don't know whether to say happy Freedom Day or it's combined with Corona. Perhaps one would have to say a safe and healthy Freedom Day rather than a happy one.
Yeah. Well, I've asked everybody this question, and I'll put the same one to you. Where is South Africa at 27?
Well, I think I would try and work on this on an 81-year calendar. 27 years of Mandela and his compatriots in prison, of course. 27 years anchored on him as the person who is seen as the leadership collective, but the most prominent in that. 27 years now since he left prison, or since 1994. The question is, what will be the next 27 years? I think if we anchor our hopes and our analysis on an 81-year time horizon, we may reflect better. And 81 years, it's almost a lifetime, a life expectancy of any individual. And when we try to look at that and say, what is the 54 years that we have spent, they are seriously years of suffering, years of hope, and which were intercepted, or at least an interval of 27 of freedom. But freedom that has not brought any material benefits to society. I mean, there have been spurts of brilliance like housing and water and electricity. But those spurts of brilliance are regressing at the moment, including in education. In 2016, I released a report that said parents seem to have done better than their children. When you think about cats, when they are very hungry, they eat their children. I think we have acted exactly in the same way that we have eaten the future of our children, in that they are worse off than parents. If you look at the proportion of people who were successfully well-skilled and doing things, that proportion for the parents has been much higher than those who are successful now. In absolute numbers, yes, the younger generation have bigger numbers, but when you look at proportions, which are the true measure of progress, they are telling you that we are regressing. So that regression is what will that mean in another 27 years? I mean, no doubt we'll implode at the rate at which we are going.
So let's reflect on the past. So I think your measurement, and you're a stats man, so your measurement is important, but it's a simple measurement. Are the children of today better off than, say, 10 years ago? Whereas maybe the 94 children were better off than 1990 or 1980. The children of today, are they better off than 10 years ago? Your answer is no. Why is that the case? What has happened where our children are less better off than the parents?
Well, they're less better off because we lost the plot. We didn't do the hard slog that had to be done. I think it's one thing to be excited about freedom, and we surely needed to be and celebrate it. But I think like the 5 wise and the 5 dumb maidens, we went into the 5 dumb maidens where we ran out of kerosene. And having run out of that kerosene, now we actually face a bigger calamity without the struggle that was purposefully waged against a very clear enemy. Our clear enemy, as it appears now, as it is revealed in Zondo Commission, is the one amongst us and ourselves, and it's a more devastating and a more angering enemy that there is so much abuse of resources and abuse of power, a lot of spin that is happening around people's futures. And what is the reaction? You can see it in the fire that is coming, in roads that are destroyed, in everything. All those people have very, very legitimate reasons to conduct their lives in the way they can conduct them. And we have no reason to prescribe how they should express their pain. You know,
how do we find hope? How do we find hope in the midst of this, of the gloom?
Human beings are hopeful. I mean, if you take 300 years of colonialism, 50 of apartheid, even in that length of time, there was always hope. I mean, if you take Lembede and Mandela and Sisulu and Adelaide and Tambo, and all those people, when they met in 1945, and Lembede, who was a fairly young man, said, freedom in our lifetime. These people that were them, Dai and them, and Mbeki, actually delivered that freedom in our lifetime. Although Lembede didn't live to see it. He died at 36. And these people committed to saying, yes, we'll see freedom in our lifetime. In 1945, they didn't know that they will go to jail for 27 years. Mm-hmm. But they anticipated anything about anything and said, we will sacrifice and see freedom in our lifetime.
So therefore, we've got some things right. Yeah, we got some things right, other things wrong. There's a sense of gloom and hopelessness. I understand that. Who then should lead the charge to change moving forward?
Well, you cannot wish people dead, although they are dead alive, because they are in such dead poverty. It is the convening of minds across all of us to say this is a zero-sum game if we don't get it right. And we should damn get it right sooner than later. We are not having another 27 years and having 81 years of no progress. We had the first 27 years of imprisonment, which led progress. We had 27 years of freedom, but we didn't know much about that freedom. We have another 27 years, which we should think about more clearly. It can't be 7 linear, 30 years. It must be always 30 years and progress all the time. So these 27 years that we are having must be years where we build the progress, and it brings the full society. It means sacrifices have to be made. Those who have stolen must go to prison. They must wear those orange overalls to remind us that crime doesn't pay. And for all of us,
I think your point is valid. I mean, here's the quick one before we let you go. When you talk about sacrifices, like how we currently sacrificing to stay alive during this COVID era, we need to make a different sacrifice, but the need to sacrifice to ensure that we survive as a nation as opposed to an individual. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's not about survival that I have a home. It's a collective survival, and we have to face each other and one another. Especially in the middle of COVID, the discussion around what the future should be happens in the middle of a crisis. If you let this crisis of COVID, which is a gift to ourselves, to actually confront the litany of bad things that have happened in South Africa, that should happen in the middle of a crisis, not after. After everybody will have forgotten and we'll go back to where we were and they say now things are normal. And it has never been normal. For the poor, it has never been normal. For the rich that have stolen, that is not normal. Everything has just been abnormal. Absolutely. And we need to get a different sense of normality.
I like that because it's ominous, but I like it in terms of how you express it. Everything is not normal. Pali Lehohla, Dr. Pali Lehohla, thank you for your time. Former statistician general, but also now doing some great things, and you need to follow him certainly on Twitter specifically. And he writes prolifically on some of the big problems in our country. The last person we'll speak to in this group of 5 now as we look at South Africa, where is South Africa 27, is Professor Jonathan Jansen.